Hello and welcome everybody to the latest edition of the Buy Round Show. I'm joined by Charlie White. What a weekend of football, Charlie.
Great to be here. I think that's the best game of footy I've ever watched in my entire life. Easily. It was unbelievable atmosphere. Like, the game was won twice and then it wasn't won, and it was just, there's so many moments. I had to write down like every single moment so we didn't miss one.
Mate, I kept forgetting what the order of events were. Like, who scored when? Why was Walsh going for a 2-point field goal?
Yeah.
The penalty in front of the sticks. It had Good Friday, Bad Friday vibes about it. But before we actually get properly stuck into it, please, again, I'll call out for our listeners, please like, subscribe if you already haven't, because it really does help support this show. We've got a lot going on as well here at the Buy Round. We've got some really cool things that we like to bring to you. One of those things is our media race. It was mentioned in Buzz Rothfield's Sunday column for the Daily Telegraph that the Buy Round are going to host a media race. You know, forget the Hammer, forget the Fox. It's all about the media time.
Forget Jason Saab, forget Roger Fabry training all of them. We've got a real media, we've got the real race. Buzz Rothfield's locked in.
Yes.
Michael Chammas is locked in. Josh Mansour is locked in. You are locked in, my friend. Tom Birmingham, you're going to be doing it, mate. You're going to be doing it. He hasn't committed to it yet, but he's going to be doing it. Because if he's scared to race against Buzz Rothfield, then that man has serious issues.
Well,
and that man doesn't deserve to have a podcast as good as the Hello Sport if he's scared of Buzz Rothfield.
And, well, it's a good segue. We're talking rivalries. We did a great rivalries podcast with Michael Chammas, him and Buzz, big rivals.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I haven't called Danny Wilder yet. I think I'll maybe call Danny and see if he's interested in getting amongst it.
That would get it.
Because we're going to have some journos, some podcasters, and a couple of ex-players in yourself and Source as well. So it should be fun.
And talking the rivalries, you know, we have a great working relationship with Bloke in the Bar. But Denon Kemp, you know, considering he used to play on the wing, he doesn't fancy it either.
He's bottled it. He's bottled it.
He's done the Ashley Klein.
Yeah, he's bottled it.
For the media race, he's sin-binned himself for no reason.
Because I thought he'd maybe win it. I thought he'd maybe win it.
Well, when you said that you thought he'd be favourite, but maybe he's feeling the pressure.
We are going to handicap the race as well, so it's not just going to be a 100-metre sprint. Like Buzz is obviously, we're going to need to give the old fella a fair head start. He asked for a Zimmer frame. I said we'll have to check with our terms and conditions if that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun.
It will be. Have you ever seen those races where they do like a beer and a pie as well?
Yeah. Beer Footy Food, I think, do some stuff like that as well.
Maybe we can spice it. I don't know. Or do we just go for it's sport in its purest form?
I think it's sport in its purest form. We're finding the fastest man in media based on a fair handicap system. Need a location, either a footy field, because we've got a clear 100 metres there and you can space it out, or an athletics track.
Oh, the athletics track.
Okay, well, I'll sort an athletics track for us.
Yeah,
then.
you do that, mate.
Yeah, need a sort of sponsor for it as well.
Yes.
So we can give some money to the winner. If we don't give it, it's just all for pride anyway. So sponsor's optional.
It's like playing for your country. It should be for free.
Should be for free.
I mean, if you win this championship, I mean,
Denon Kemp, I'm disappointed in you for bottling it. Tom Birmingham, don't be the same as Denon. Don't be like Denon.
But let's get stuck into our instant classic, Charlie. That is the only place that we can start. I thought we'd be talking about the Bulldogs and the Storm, because that was a great way to kick off the finals. Sunday, I think the game most people were anticipating, but obviously, usually they don't deliver. But it is our instant classic.
It is, all thanks to Classic. If you want to become a Classic VIP member, you can click the link in the bio. Some very special stuff coming soon from us and Classic, which will be a lot of fun. Very excited to bring that. Looking like we're going to drop that the Sunday leading into grand final.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. But yeah, Jimmy, best game, honestly, I've ever worked on. Best game I've ever watched live. It was... like, there's so many moments. I almost don't really know where to start. I think maybe we start with the fact that Canberra were up 28-12.
Yeah.
They had the game on toast. Tamale, unfortunately, drops the kickoff, and then things change.
Well, first off, Footy misses that conversion.
Yep. It was a sitter as well.
It was. So we have a Triple M. They have a kick predictor, 94%.
Yeah.
It was predicted at. He misses it. It probably doesn't seem too consequential at that moment in time. Then Tamale drops it off the kickoff, and you just start to wonder, like, and really at that point, I felt as if Canberra stopped playing. Brisbane had all the momentum and all the ball, and they had all the more reasons to go after and attack the game. But I felt as if Canberra maybe just put the cue on the rack a little bit. That said, Canberra should have won the game. I think they deserved to win the game. The Broncos got out of jail a couple of times, but you've got to give them credit. The Reece Walsh masterclass. Charlie, you spoke about it being the best game that you've ever seen. Only because the grand final in 23 meant Penrith winning the premiership. I've got that slightly ahead.
Yep.
But in terms of consequence of result, that if you take out the consequence of result, I think that is a better game. Like 94 minutes of chaos.
Yeah. The moments though, Jimmy, like the moments. Like you think Reece Walsh hits the crossbar. That's the moment. They almost got it. They fall short. Then he gets penalised. That they level it up. It looks like Broncos going to get an easy shot at field goal. Hudson Young comes from nowhere, gets a charge down that would it's one of the greatest charge downs you'll ever see in a game of NRL.
The best.
There was just so many opportunities. The Canberra Raiders, they had a huge opportunity to score a try and then they bottled it, or just to set up for a simple field goal attempt. And then Owen Paddy threw an intercept.
What were they doing? I think it was Hudson Young at first didn't go to the posts. He sort of flirted back, and then Papali'i comes back to that left edge, and they're just in prime position for a field goal. I believe at that point that was golden point. That was extra time, half two.
It was near towards the end of extra time, half two.
Which would have won them.
It would have won them the game. I think there was I think they get the intercept.
Well, I think there was
like
20.
30
there was like 20 seconds left. I don't even know if the ball gets kicked off.
Yeah. Let's go back though, because really what got them back in the game was that Reece Walsh masterclass you spoke of. It was very much like Nathan Cleary in 2023, where he just said, "Stuff it, I'm taking over here."
Yeah.
The try he scored was like an individual piece of brilliance that he scored, that first one to make it go from 28-12 to 28-16. Then he followed it up with, I believe, a 40-20.
Yep.
And then he puts the try out of nowhere.
Yeah, where he swept round. It was amazing. He had one in the first half. The presence of mind to disguise himself. He was on the right hand side of the ruck, sweeps down the left, gets the ball, nails the kick. It's a difficult movement pattern to kick off, almost an unnatural movement pattern as well. I
was actually wrong, sorry, because I've just checked my notes here. The Reece Walsh, after scoring the try, put the try assist on for Karapani, who scores a great try. Then Reece Walsh kicks a 40-20, and then Gehetmet Shibasaki scores a try there.
Well, look, I'm just going back to my playing days, and when you're on the Brisbane side of things, and you know a player gets hot, there's nothing better. You're thinking we're gonna win this. We're gonna win this. And I think I was leaning more towards Brisbane because they had all the ascendancy in those dying moments. When you're on Canberra's side, you just it reminded me of the World Cup semi-final against Tonga. England played Tonga, and the last 7-8 minutes, they were just coming. And we had moments where Jermaine McGilvray, our winger, intercepts the pass. We all go, oh, we've won it. And then he spills the ball in one of the Tongan players chases back and he knocks it on. And it's like, oh my God, we're all back on deck again. Elliot Whitehead comes up with the try save on Andrew Fafita. But it was just, it reminded me of being in the trenches those last 10 minutes and the opposition get one try. And you're like, no, we're going to be okay. And then they go again and you are just in a hole. And it is so... And again, I was probably a bit critical of Canberra, saying they closed shop and they stopped playing. But you it's a bit unfair because there is no real option. You actually can't do anything when that other team's got all that momentum. It is almost impossible. You are just treading water to save your life. It is... an insane situation to be in. You think you've got the game won, and then that opposition just get a sense. And it was all inspired by Reece Walsh. Showed the NRL world what he, a timely reminder of what he is capable of doing. I think that's his. We've seen him light up the stage before. I think that's his best performance in a Broncos jersey. It wasn't flawless, but it was his best performance in a Broncos jersey. I'm happy to say that actually his best ever game. Yeah,
and we'll get to some of the stuff like the sin bin in a little bit, but it was that left edge of the Broncos that just tore to shreds Canberra's right edge. Like Jed Stewart got caught out of position on a couple of occasions. Like they found that weakness and then they just kept exploiting it. And I thought in Golden Point, an extra time, I thought Canberra Broncos would almost win it comfortably in extra time once they got there.
Yeah, I thought the momentum was with Brisbane. They were favourites at that point for me.
The Zach Hosking charge down penalty. What are your thoughts on it?
It's the right call based in today's game, but I do not like it. And I really felt for Zach Hosking because he's doing his best there. One of the phrases that, and he's been charged, he's getting a fine. One of the phrases that gets communicated from the referee is risk of injury. I don't reckon any kicker. The risk of injury comes if you do what I did. When I leave the ground with Adam Reynolds on that Bad Friday game. Leave the ground and I'm uncontrolled, and I took out Adam Reynolds' standing leg, not his kicking leg. And there's the big difference. The risk of injury is on the standing leg, not the kicking leg. And this is where people get confused. So if you make, I think the rule should be changed that if you make contact with the kicking leg, and you could almost make a case for Reece Walsh kicked Zach Hosking. I'm not a fan of this rule. We've seen on a numerous Harry Grant.
There was an incident though where Lockie Elias had his in New South Wales Cup. He had his leg out, his kicking leg out, which was collided, and he broke his leg. So there obviously are incidences where it can happen.
I'd need to see that one again to confirm that. But I think the high risk of injury comes from the attacking of the standing leg, not the kicking leg.
Yep.
Can we pull that one up, Tone? The Lockie Elias one. I know it's not exactly pleasant.
It was
viewing.
New South Wales Cup as well, so it might be tough to find, but.
But that's the nature of the game now, and I think even in the emotion of the occasion, though, and I got lost in the emotion of the occasion. Those and probably a lack of awareness on the rules. That now as a chaser, as someone going to attempt to charge down a field goal attempt, you have to be aware that you just can't be anywhere near the legs.
Yeah,
I will, however, say. The whole field goal stuff has become a mess. An absolute, mess. So, on the 2-point field goal attempt where Reece Walsh hit the crossbar, Ben Hunt is in a blocking position.
Right.
On the 1-point field goal attempt, on the next field goal attempt where Hosking got penalised, Payne Haas is in a blocking position.
I disagree with you on that one because he said that in commentary, and I thought that Haas was deep enough away from it. I thought
he's in a blocking position.
Yeah.
So now instead of Zach Hosking, had he had his time over again, instead of going to block that, he should have just run into Payne Haas. And it's just bullshit, mate.
Yeah.
It's just they for some reason. They were so concerned about these blockers. And I think you could maybe make a point for the fact that when they literally stood next to the ruck to stop the markers coming, we don't want to see that. But do we want to see this mess that is what we've witnessed this year? And also, the idea of the blockers is to protect the kickers, to make it harder for those chasers to make contact with them, to block the kick. So, you want to protect the kickers by not allowing contact with the legs, but you want to open up the path for them to get there. I don't quite understand the logic behind that thinking.
Yeah.
For me, were the blockers a big enough issue to create this mess? I'd say no.
Yeah.
And again, I'm looking at those two events and going, they're in blocking positions. Therefore they should be penalty to Canberra Raiders.
So you think coaches are now just going to basically... Here's the Lockie Elias as well, which we can have a look at here. It's a gruesome incident, but... Yeah. Oh. That's a lot of force there from... It looks like Freddie Lussick, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. It is the kicking leg.
Yeah.
It is the kicking leg. And look...
Freddie Lussick's coming through with a lot of force there, though.
I mean...
Not a field goal attempt, so maybe there's something different for field goal attempts you could look at.
Yeah, I guess when you see that, you can understand why
You got to protect the kicker's legs.
you've got to protect the kicker's legs. Yeah, again, I go back to the point I made a little bit earlier of even with the emotion and the adrenaline running through and the will and the fight to try and block or make it as hard as possible for the person attempting the field goal, it's something you have to now be consciously aware of.
Yeah. Before we get to the controversial incidents, let's just talk about some of the positives first. Gehemet Shibasaki's performances, where when you think he was dropped the week before and everyone's like, oh, do you bring him back in? The Broncos are killing it. Do you bring him back in? Yeah, you bring him back in.
Yes,
he was
absolutely. He
unbelievable.
was sensational, as was Payne Haas, as was Katoni Staggs. Oh, my goodness.
Is he the best? He might be the best center in the game now, Staggs.
He's making a very strong case for it.
Yeah.
He was... Look, I know a lot will go to Reece Walsh, but there were some runs from Staggs yesterday that clawed them back into field position. He just, every carry he runs with so much determination. Like, he's I think we described it in commentary as the Ferrari that likes to go off-road, because he has that touch of class and arguably could be used as one of those centers has 5 outstanding runs a game that you put him in space, but he just wants more.
They've unlocked him this back half of the year, and I
don't know if it's unlocked.
I know, but he's just been even better and better. He's just been getting better and better as the year's gone on.
Yeah.
And he wins every first contact.
Yeah.
Like,
he's so strong.
So strong.
Like, it must be frightening for those opposition players coming up against him. Like, the try he scored, great play to start the game where he sweeped from his right-hand side, popped up on that sort of hang play. Mate, they don't actually execute the play that well, the Broncos there. It's Staggs' power that gets them. That play is designed to split defenders, to create a gap for Staggs to basically run through untouched. The Raiders players they didn't get fooled by the setup. They were in position, but Staggs just went over the top of them. Like in the opening exchanges, that was amazing. Like Walsh will get all the credit, but for me, Staggs was like his level of game was enormous.
On Canberra side of things, Hudson Young, you've called him now the best back row in the game.
I think on form, yeah. On this year's form, I think Hudson Young is the best back rower in the game, and I think I've always been a fan of him, and it's probably a consequence of playing for a team down like in and around the 8, which Canberra were. Probably like winning helps elite players be at their best, and there's a level of responsibility on those elite players to get wins, but you can't do it all by yourself, and it's particularly difficult in the edge back row. But I think if you compare him with Crichton, with Martin, with Kickow, I think based off this year's level of performance, Hudson Young has had the best season.
Yeah, he almost picks himself as starting back row for the Kangaroos.
Well, I think he does.
Because who would be the starting back row? It's probably Martin and Angus Crichton.
Well, Martin's not going.
Yeah.
But even if they were all fully fit,
is Lee Martin brought himself out of the Kangaroos? Is he okay? Yeah.
You'd never tell Ricky Stewart what to do, but I'd love to see him play lock.
Hudson Young.
Yeah. Because he has got a bit of skill about him.
Yeah. There's a lot of skill about him.
Like,
he can pass, he can kick, he can do offload, he can do everything basically in the game.
I'd really, he's not going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to. I was going to say with Matty Nicholson maybe come in on that edge instead.
And put Horsburgh to the bench.
Yeah, but they've made their Sasangi and
they got so much, mate. Canberra aren't out of this competition by any stretch. This game for me felt like it was a level above all the other finals games in terms of quality. And if this is the grand final, it wouldn't shock me.
Oh, it would shock me. It really would. I think that the hardest thing now for the Raiders is getting over this. And results like this, when you've got 6 days to get over it, obviously physically, mentally, and emotionally draining. Like that, you don't need to be an expert to analyze that fact, but just the thoughts that creep in the week, regretful thoughts, what might have been thoughts, what could have been thoughts, blame thoughts. Like, there's regret there that why did Tamale drop that ball? Why didn't Fogarty kick the field goal? There's so many moments that the Raiders could point back to and go, why didn't we set up for the field goal in the dying stages of extra time? Why did no one put pressure on Ben Hunt? It didn't look like the Raiders were ready. It was a 39-meter attempt from Hunt, his second field goal attempt in his NRL career. Well, his second successful field goal. Like, it's rare. Like, so many things you'd be like, why did that happen? Why didn't we? How did they? You know, if, like you said, a couple of the tries, like, why didn't we hold up Stags? Like, you know, what if the referee got that call when Starling went through in the second run of the game, and then the blame of the referee, like, bullshit that Hudson Young got sent to the sin bin.
One of the worst calls I think ever in NRL history.
It was the match official or the bunker were scared of an unequal outcome. That's what it was.
But it was an unequal event, Jim.
Exactly. That's my point. So often you see match officials warn players, warn teams anymore running in, and it's just like one from each team. It's a fair fight for want of a better phrase, even though they're not fights. But there's enough scuffle. So the referee and often it can be deemed slightly harsh that one player's like, I didn't even do anything, but it's like you were there. So we take one out from each to just settle things down, send a bit of a warning to the players. But Hudson Young, quite rightfully, well, I'm not a massive fan of, even though I've done it myself, you know, Jamie Sowder and clapping him, like, that was a bit of a war of words between me and him. Hudson Young, Walsh makes a mistake, their best player, when he's hot, like, and he claps him and he's you know, giving him a bit of a verbal spray. And then Walsh has obviously reacted. He's headbutted him to an extent. Like, it's not a proper headbutt, but it's the headbutt action. He moves his head towards Hudson Young, and then sort of pushes him over. Has to be sin-binned. Like, has to be sin-binned. But then Klein, before that, to call out Hudson Young and send him to the sin bin was, like, I still can't believe that actually happened. I'm careful with my choice of words here, but I actually still can't believe he did that. And then to compound it, to give the penalty to Brisbane, like, what on earth is going through the head? There is no justification for that. The words of Hudson Young caused that, he started it. This is something that happens like almost every game. And
Ronaldo Mulatalo would get sin-binned every play when something happens where he's up and about and getting in someone's face.
Yeah. Like, and what precedent has been set here?
Cam Munster does it all the time. I think there was a try where they scored a try and Munster screamed in kick-out's face. So you're going to send him to the bin?
Yeah. No, they're not. But they felt like they needed to equalise it and share and equalise the both sides be penalised. It was wrong on so, like, it just doesn't make sense. It sets the wrong precedent for any sort of melee that happens now. Like, if you get clapped, well, I can just shove you with, you know, light force with my head. Is that, and I just get 10 minutes and then just get a fine? Is that okay? Is that the standard? And maybe I'll get the penalty even better, because in that situation, Brisbane knock on. How can I get a penalty? I'm going to wait to see if someone runs at me and claps me, and then I'm just going to give them a knock.
Give them a headbutt.
We both go off.
Yeah.
We both go off and we get the penalty. Happy days.
Mate, it's madness.
Like happy day. Like that could legitimately be a tactic.
Yeah.
Get
as soon as one of the spine players comes and claps and celebrates, someone just headbutt them, we'll both be off.
Yeah.
10 in the bin each way.
Yeah.
Done. Happy days.
Yeah. And we get the ball back.
And we get the ball back.
Yeah, I get to make, lad, you know, like normally, like, you know, instead of doing the one set shout, one set, which pisses me off, one set, it's like, actually, one set, bollocks to that. I'll just nut him.
Yeah,
and
I'll drop the ball on, headbutt him, we'll get the penalty.
If we need two, if we need to take the two,
Mate,
happy days.
It's crazy. It actually goes to show how incredible this game really is, because they were able to overcome these 34 players that played a diabolical refereeing performance, in all honesty. Like Ashley Klein, if you go through the whole game, the amount of moments that he stuffed up where he lost control, a couple of examples. The second play of the game, the incorrect play of the ball, that was just madness. Like let the players play and let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Then during the game, he
just awarded on that, Starling goes through, right? He gets a quick play of the ball. And there's the Brisbane Brook isn't back, and they make contact with him, which forces him to fall over.
I thought it was a fine play ball anyway. I thought he got the ball down. I thought he got his foot to it.
Well, he did get, but the rule is you've got to stay on your feet.
But how often do we just see that stuff not given?
It's just a stupid rule.
Yeah,
they got to get rid of it. And there was enough for me. There was enough contact from the Brisbane players.
Yeah, a blatant forward pass by Brisbane Broncos that was missed in the first half.
Yeah,
there was a moment where a penalty was awarded because I think it was Corey Horsburgh dropped the ball out the back. And he ruled that he said held, which was, in my opinion, one of the fastest held calls ever. It was basically contact. Horsburgh falls to the ground, drops out the back. I ruled held. It's like, well, you ruled held within 1 second of contact. Never is it a tackle held within 1 second of contact.
This is something, again, we need to look at the game. We're calling held way too quickly. Like the tackle's not complete till the player's on the ground.
Yeah.
If he's still upright.
You want to give a chance for an offload as well. It's a good part of the game. Like,
keep your legs. Yeah, it is.
But then the exact same thing happened later on in the game, and Ashley Klein just said, I ruled held, play the ball again.
Yeah.
So didn't award the penalty because it was late in the game, because it was an intense moment. He didn't rule it the same way he officiated earlier in the game. Then there was a lot of different things during the game where he got wrong. Like if he's the best referee, gets Origin, he'll probably get the grand final again this year. I don't understand it at all personally.
Me either. I really was really disappointed with how much attention that the referee is going to have from that game. And look,
mate, that's how impressed we got a game like that, overcoming the referee who did nothing to help that game.
No, even to be honest, Carrigan shooting out the line, right? One of the phrases used is risk of injury. Carrigan put his opposite in a high degree of risk of very, very serious injury. Like lucky Morgan Smithies bounces back up there, because if he doesn't, even when Carrigan shot out, it's been deemed that the charge is high contact. For me, it's a shoulder charge and high contact.
Yeah,
like it's.
So you want a shoulder charge grading, which obviously comes with a more significant punishment.
It doesn't look like he wraps the arm, like not properly.
No,
like I know what that tackle is because I've done it, and you're not in control, and it's a shoulder.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with a week personally, because it is the same. For me, it's very similar to that Nelson incident, and it's actually the exact same charge as that Nelson got 2 weeks ago or last weekend. It's a high tackle, careless, grade 2. Because Carrigan's got a relatively clean record, like this year he's completely clean. Yeah, it's only a 1 week suspension for him.
Like I was genuinely worried he might miss Aussie games. Yeah.
Yeah, you were in commentary. You were saying 3 to 4 weeks minimum.
Yeah, I thought, and again, probably factoring in the Nelson one, the Finucane one, the Jack Whiten one.
Yeah, we were watching that footage before coming on. Jack Whiten, it's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah, he rushes out the line. Jack Whiten uses the wrong shoulder, but for me, it's exactly the same. They're out to win, aim to turn the game.
And he got 4 weeks for that, Jack Whiten.
That's why I was worried about. To be honest, I was. Again, what happens to the player, you do the tackle on, it does count. And the fact that Morgan Smithies got up really saved Carrigan. I was worried he was going to go. Like, I was genuinely worried he was going to go. He's getting a week. I mean, he can't fight it. He just can't.
He won't fight it.
No.
He wouldn't risk it. He knows he's not going to get off that charge. And then you risk getting suspended for the grand final.
And I think Willison will be back, so he'll offset that loss to some extent.
They're in a bit of... They're like, Haster's not 100% though.
No. And you know what? He'll play. He'll be right.
Yeah.
But, like, man, there was times in that game where he was on one leg.
Yeah.
He just looked in so much pain. And, look, players play through pain. You know, Stephen Crichton, like, did his best to carry on. But that was the level of uncomfortableness that he looked like he was going through.
And they're likely going to have Penrith in that prelim final.
What are you trying to say?
The Dogs are gone. We'll get to them later, though, anyway. But the other thing for Brisbane as well going into the prelim is Adam Reynolds is going to be fit. So Adam Reynolds would have been able to play this week had they lost. This week coming, I should say, had they lost. What did they bring him in? It's a huge dilemma. I think if I was Michael Maguire, I'd probably not put Adam Reynolds back in, as crazy as that sounds.
He will. He will. So I think Ben Hunt came to the club to be a bit of nine, but also knowing that Adam Reynolds is injury prone and to be that man to step in the halfback position when he's out. But then when he returns, he's the 7. And obviously it's been in and around some big games, and the Broncos attack looks to be clicking, but there's probably a bit of similarities between the Broncos and the Dogs and the situations there and how the aesthetics look and how it, looks to the eye. Because there is a strong case to say that Broncos attack looks improved with Hunt, Walsh, Walters, Pakes. But I feel that this would have been across the desk or in the season plans of Maguire. What if it gets to this stage that Reynolds is out for an extended period and Hunt plays really well?
Yeah.
I think he would already know. For me, the interesting one is what he does with Ezra Mann, because I don't think...
I don't know if Ezra's 100% going to be back. Like, there's talk he can play, but if he's not fit for the prelim, then you definitely wouldn't make change for the grand final, surely, if they make it that far.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I think Walters is just... He's better defensively, and he's just calm. And don't get me wrong, Ezra Mann is a fantastic player, but what Ezra can give you, they've got in Walsh.
Yeah. So, and for the balance of the team, Walters probably suits it a bit better.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
I'll ask you this question, though. When have the Broncos looked their best this year?
When they beat Melbourne 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and that was without Adam Reynolds. And then they've just gone to Canberra and won again without Adam Reynolds.
Yeah, but you know what, though, Charlie? Right, Canberra were the better team.
Yeah,
and this is, so let's not take away anything from Brisbane. Right, here's a bit of a reality check, and credit to them, they don't make the top 4 unless the Warriors get injured.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
which is, I think, a fair assessment. So, and you need a little bit of luck along the way. So they get into the top 4, probably not of their own doing, more of the unfortunate consequences of the Warriors' star players, right?
They still got to win the games to get there, though.
They do.
Yeah.
But in the last, I think in like the last 6 games, they only they lost to Para. They won all those other games, all against teams not in the 8, apart from Melbourne, which I think is worth taking into consideration. That for me, the Melbourne game was their best. They go to Canberra, they're down 28-12, should have been 30-12, and like it was all the instigation and what Brisbane did. You've got to give them credit for, but it quite easily could have gone 40-12.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Well, I thought at half time, I think they were up 12-6 at half time. I still felt like Canberra were going to run away with it. Because if they clean things up, held the ball, they would have too much for the Broncos.
So again, you're celebrating it, but what, like there's elements of the game where you look and you go, well, hang on a minute, like it's not like we blew them away. And I think we get lost sometimes in the level of performance because the game was so great. Like the game was amazing. And when you win a game like that, often the commentary can be like, oh, how good are Brisbane? It's like, I bet Maguire's like thrilled with the victory. You break down the performance, you know, we've got some areas to fit. We can't play like that against Penrith or the Dogs.
But then how much changes it by bringing Adam Reynolds in? Like,
yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah, because
it's a great
they
question.
Just look so good, and the main thing that when I say they've just looked so good, I mainly mean Reece Walsh has just looked so good. So whatever this spy makeup is, it suits Reece Walsh to a T. And the only way Brisbane win a premiership is if Reece Walsh is the star.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
So maybe it's time to just say to Adam Reynolds, hey, we're just going to put you on ice for the rest of the year. You got one more year to go in the team. We're going to try and win a comp. We might need you for the grand final. Ben Hunt could get injured, but for this week, we're going to go with what has worked.
No, I understand your logic.
They won't. Do you know what maybe Madge should do? And he won't do this. He definitely won't do this. But go to Reece Walsh and say, who should I pick, mate? Who should I pick?
No.
He won't do it, but Reece, genuinely sit Reece in a room and go, why are you thriving so much with Ben Hunt in your eyes? Ask him those questions. Figure out what is working so well with Ben Hunt, and then can Adam Reynolds recreate that? If you want to pick Adam Reynolds, can he recreate what Ben Hunt's been doing to get the best out of Reece Walsh?
Well, I think you could make a point that the kicking game of Adam Reynolds is much better. Like Ben Hunt gets a lot of
but I'd like to see Reece Walsh kicking.
Yeah, but did you see
40-20?
Do you remember the
40-20s
do you remember the 7
weekend?
tackle set when they were down to 11 that Ben Hunt gave away with that kick?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it was like that was just.
But then
that again, and because there's no, I can't remember the consequences of that, but because so much gets caught up in the wash. Like, you don't focus on that, but that is something that Maguire would look at and go, Reynolds doesn't do that, not when we're down to 11.
Yeah, okay. So Reynolds is just straight back in.
I think they will do that. Just sort of going back to Reece Walsh, there's some fans out there that are sort of saying he's a protected species, and the reason he's not being suspended for this headbutt is the fact that he's such a draw card, and the NRL needs him to play finals.
They do.
They do need him to play finals, but I don't think that's the reason he didn't get a game suspension.
I'm very comfortable with the fine. It wasn't like it was a headbutt, sure, but it wasn't like a run up to someone Zinedine Zidane style and headbutt like bang. It was just like more of a press than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I've got? Do you know what I think about suspensions during finals though? I'd actually scrap all suspensions during finals and just push them over to next season.
I'm with you.
I
reckon I'm with you there,
like,
Charlie.
mate, just if you in finals you want the best players playing.
Yeah.
Just push the suspensions to next year. Missing a game's a game. Like, just have the best players playing final. You do something wrong, you just suffer the punishment next year.
Obviously, we've seen the NRL take extraordinary action and come in and charge Crichton when there was no action taken. That was a big campaign.
Yeah. From Buzz Rothfield.
From Buzz Rothfield.
Another Buzz Rothfield campaign was to get Nico Hines off his charge.
And then I just wonder if there'll be any public. Imagine if the NRL came in and just went, "No, we're going to actually, Reece, we're going to suspend you."
Well, 360 will have aired at this point, so Buzz is very much of the belief that Reece Walsh should be suspended, and I'm sure he said that tonight on 360 when that aired. So a lot of people are going to come out against Reece Walsh, and man, I love watching Reece Walsh as a player. I love watching him as a player.
Yeah.
I'm so glad he's playing.
A few of the things that have been said is if Hudson Young does that to Reece Walsh, Hudson Young gets games.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Reece Walsh doesn't get sin-binned as well.
No.
Like, that decision to sin-bin Hudson Young was terrible. It was terrible. It was
disgraceful.
Yeah.
It really was.
On the Raiders side of things, like you spoke about that psychological scarring a bit earlier, 28-12 up. It was very much reminiscent of the Broncos against Penrith. Games won. You're in the following week. They're going to come off a 93-minute game, a 94-minute game, whatever it was. 6-day turnaround. Ricky Stewart came out in the press conference and basically said, we're not going to be doing much work this week. If you need to work at this time of year, you're doing something wrong. It's all about
100%.
rest and rehab.
100% right.
Are they going to be cooked, though, for the Sharks?
Look, the Sharks had their own 80-minute battle against the Roosters. That was an intense game as well. Not as intense as the Raiders. Sharks will be feeling good about their opportunities and their chances. I still think the Raiders will be favourites. So.
They are, they are on Ladbrokes.
Yeah.
$1.55 favourites on Ladbrokes.
But I think it's brought the fact that the nature of that game on so many levels. I think it brings Cronulla a lot closer because it knocks out a bit of Canberra's ability. The big worry is if they get through, then they've got to go to Melbourne, and they won't be thinking about that. But again, Ricky Stewart's saying that they're not going to do much work. It's the little conversations that they're going to have, and they know the pressure's coming. And like I say, the regret, the blaming of the referee, maybe even looking at other players and thinking. For me, that's why Brisbane, on top of some injuries last year, were so poor, is they just couldn't get over it.
Yeah. Last thing on this game, because how long have we been going from this game, Tony? 42. We've done 42 minutes on this game. So this is the last thing I want to ask you about this game. Michael Maguire, brought in at the start of the year. A lot of criticism about him getting the job. Kevy Walters obviously sacked. We did an emergency podcast. It was shocking at the time. Have the Broncos been vindicated with the home prelim final?
Well, that in itself, yes.
Yeah.
And you need, like I say, you need a little bit of luck along the way. They certainly got that. But I think the answer has to be yes.
Yeah. I think it's a resounding yes as well.
Yeah.
I think I might have been critical of Madge at the time for getting it, but obviously the right decision's been made. Like they've gone to another level. They look like they're playing at a different level as well. And I'm sure Kevy could have done this as well.
Yeah, and that's it. I think Kevy had the capabilities to do this.
Yeah. But if you're judging the decision, it's a tick for the Broncos.
I think you have to say so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Sharks then, because they're going to take on the Raiders. So may as well talk about them next. Super impressive win, Jimmy. They showed a lot of grit. Were you surprised?
Look, I'd tipped the Sharks to get the victory against the Roosters. I just had I don't know, it's more of a bit of a bad feeling about the Roosters, and sometimes their style of play, their ball control just wasn't up to scratch, and sometimes they have that in them, a poor ball control game. I remember that game against the Dogs, their completion was over 90%. It was like, oh, that's the benchmark, and when it comes off, it's almost unstoppable. I thought the Sharks, you got to give them credit for their level of desperation. Like so many times there was Sharks players in the picture. I thought their middle really stood up as well. Toby Rudolph, I know he got the try, but he's really dialed in lately. I've really liked his commitment. I think watching Toby, Sharks have got an imbalanced roster. They've got too many good middle forwards, can't get enough minutes. They've obviously bought Fanua Blake, re-signed Hazleton. I think he probably looked and gone, there's not room for us all here, and I want to stay. And his performances, they're either putting him in the shop window, or they're making Fitzgibbon say, "I'm going to keep you around."
Yeah.
So I've been super impressed with him. I thought Trindle was great.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah,
he's such a good player, man.
Yeah, when he's on like that, some big moments from him. Love Ronaldo Mulatalo and the battle between him and Mark Nwangani-Tawase. Like that was, Who won
it then in your eyes?
Ronnie. Yeah. And you know what? People were critical of him pre-game, having that response to the press conference. Like I love that from Ronaldo. Like love it.
Same.
And you know what? When Ronaldo's got a big ego, right? And that's fine. You know the best thing about people with big egos? They don't like letting themselves down and putting themselves on negative show. It's not for everyone, but he puts his ego reputation on the line every single time.
Yeah,
and he's messed it up a few times where he's dropped some sitters. But I love that.
But who doesn't love that? I don't get these people who don't love that stuff on the field. When you got a guy who's with character, being expressive, being emotional, being aggressive, like who doesn't enjoy watching that?
Yeah, it's passion.
Yeah. Like I love watching Ronaldo Mulatalo. I think, and I loved his press conference.
Yeah, me too.
I thought they were going to get pumped, the Sharks, if I'm being honest. I thought the Sharks were cannon fodder these finals. Like it would be bang straight away out. But now with the way things have shaped up and the way they played, I could see them beating Canberra, and then they'd travel to Melbourne, where we all know how good a record the Sharks have against Melbourne and how well they've performed over the last few years. I mean, they even won this year against Melbourne.
At home, they were humbled away. They were in the contest for a good 60 or so.
But like they wouldn't feel scared. They wouldn't be scared of Melbourne, would they?
No.
So the Sharks are now a team that can still go on a run, potentially even make a grand final. I don't think they will make the grand final, but they could. They're not out of it.
There's a lot of belief, and we spoke with Toby Rudolph on Sunday, and he spoke about just that internal group. And I know a lot of people, a lot of teams would have that when there's no external noise or not much external conversation around you and your title aspirations. But within that group, led by Blake Brayley, they could give it a crack. You know what I've got to say as well, at times like these, you really feel for those lads that are injured, like Cam McInnes, what he's done for that club. He's not around. You think of Canberra's
Savage, the Savage Cabbage, Xavier
Savage not playing.
Well,
like,
you
say if he plays and all that, you feel for guys like that.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Best time of the year, isn't it?
You really do. Like it's.
Did you ever get injured during finals?
No. The boys would be around them, but it's not. You can't. You can't bring them up. It's hard, man. It really is. Yeah, I feel for Cam and for Savage, like people like that. Yeah.
Cam McInnes, he'd be shattered.
And obviously all the Bulldogs lads as well. Like it's devastating for the team and the club, but on a pace, and you're all about the team, but on a personal level, you're pretty devastated. Like Montoya, he'd be shattered, man.
Mate, Stephen Crichton, like he'll be shattered. On the Roosters, they're done, obviously dusted now. I mean, I think it's a pass mark for them for the year. Probably they make the top 8. Obviously, they go at week 1. Sam Walker's copped a lot of criticism though from this game, and I think is it a bit over the top?
Sam Walker does not need to listen to that criticism. Like, did he have his best game? No, but he's won them a lot of games. He's a star. Like, that one finals game isn't going to define him. I think Sam Walker's going on to big things.
Yeah. It's interesting though how everyone's come out being like, oh, now it makes sense when they signed DCE. Yeah. I think that's a bit silly looking at one game and like, oh yeah, now we need DCE.
Yeah, we do that. We react like
it's so over the top.
It'd be great to put DCE in a time machine and go, oh, like it's not like DCE's lit the world on fire and you go, oh, I tell you what, the Roosters really need him.
Yeah,
they need him from 3-4 years ago.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Yeah,
but I mean, to just think he's going to come in and release Sam Walker or that finals experience, like maybe it can help to an extent, but it's not like, oh, this is what we've been looking for.
Yeah.
I still think the Roosters need to figure out what they're going to do with Connor Watson, man. Like, with Reece Robson coming in, he'll be an 80-minute hooker. The utility will go to Watson, maybe a bit of Lock, but then you've got Nafahu, White, Radley. Like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see the makeup of their team.
Yeah, they've almost got too many riches. Surprise, surprise, the Roosters have too many riches.
Yeah. Speaking of too many riches,
yes.
Oh, Hyundai hybrid hero. Because that is Jonah Pezzett.
Yeah. Couldn't really be anyone else, Jimmy. That first game, he was incredible. If you've ever thought about going hybrid, Jimmy, I should say now you can. Check out the hybrid SUV range that is by Hyundai today.
Oh, I already have, and I've got myself one.
You've got yourself
Charlie.
one. They're fantastic.
I've had it for a year, and it is driving like an absolute dream.
Great supporters of the show, Hyundai.
Yes, very much so. Hyundai hybrid hero, obviously, is Jonah Pezzett, and the reason is hands and feet hybrid. Like that 40-20 was, we're talking about some magnificent brilliance from Walsh. The 40-20 that he kicked was like, I don't know how he did it. It was on last play.
As good a 40-20 as you'll ever see.
Yeah. It was first class. It's got me wondering around, even on the hybrid side of things, I wonder if he'll go for a loan as well.
Yeah.
Because he's too good to not play first grade.
Yeah.
And I think teams would be, if you need a 7, you're knocking on Melbourne's door and saying, can we take him for a year and hopefully maybe even longer as well.
Well, the Bunnies got offered this and they've said no to it. So I saw that story during the way the Bunnies were offered to have Jonah Pezza for next year. Wouldn't you just bring him in and then hope you can show him how good the environment is and then you keep him there as well?
Yeah.
Pezzet's got a clause, Jimmy. So, like, Pezzet's, he signed at the Storm, but because Hughes has been re-signed, Jonah Pezza is virtually a free agent.
Yeah.
If I'm the Perth Bears, I'm offering him $1.2 million a year and just lock that, try and get that man down. His kicking game is as good a kicking game in the NRL already. Like, man, how good a boot did he have? He kicked Melbourne out of trouble on so many occasions.
I think that's it. Like, sometimes you see players like him and they come into a normal NRL game and you say, he can make it, he can handle it, he can even excel. And what you get your halfback in is to win big games in finals. Well, he did that. The proof's there that he can do it. Granted, he put that one out on the full, but great pressure from Josh Curran. But like his level of game, like if you Bellamy, like I was surprised. I thought they'd go with Wishart because I thought he's done most of the 7 while Hughes has been out. And people were saying Pezza, and I was, why are they waiting to make that call? They did it. It was vindicated. Like he was. You're not even, if you're speaking with Jerome Hughes, you went, mate, just don't worry, mate.
Yeah, you're on. Put yourself on ice.
Yeah. And again, it's one game. And
Pezzett, also this hybrid side of it, the defensive end as well. He made that crazy tackle. I can't remember who it was on, not kick out, but someone on that side of it. And it was a great tackle, huge tackle as well, because the Dogs were rolling at that point.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly who
you know
it
what I'm
was,
talking about, though.
Huge.
Sure, people listening will know as well.
I think maybe I'm like Tupanua or Jacob Preston, maybe.
Yeah. That rings a bell. Tupanua rings a bell. The Dogs, though, they're probably cooked now, aren't they? Unfortunately, like given all the injuries, obviously we know Stephen Crichton's likely done. We know Tuala's done. Kikau's a chance of playing, looking likely at this stage that he will play.
Well, we've been told by our friends that Kikau doesn't want to go for a scan because he doesn't care what's up with him. Love that. Like that is just yes. How good.
So is he potentially got a face fracture and he's saying, I don't want to get scanned because if I get if I find out I've got a face fracture, I'm not allowed to play by the medical staff? Is that how it works?
Be advised against, maybe. I don't know exactly how it
would work. So
he's
just said his big balls played. Nah, don't worry, I'm sweet.
Yeah.
Wow.
And look, I mean, if there's any, give medical advice, always get things checked out. But look, I get the risk. Like, you know. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss, as they say.
That what they will do though is Sexton going to play. We don't know about Sexton yet, do we?
Well, Sexton, if it's sternum, he'll be sweet.
Or do you just needle a sternum?
Yeah, we were talking about this off the show. So when I was playing at St. Helens, like back in like 2008 maybe, round 1 or round 2, got an elbow to the sternum. Oh, it hurt like hell. You put a needle in it, like a general anesthetic. So, if you're the dentist and it numbs or everything, you feel a bit weird. Well, they basically put that into the sternum and you basically numb the pain. And then sometimes you can get it repeated at halftime. Sometimes you don't, depending on, and obviously you wear a plate or a guard. You make it so it sort of like hollows out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's more of it's
like a shield.
Yeah. Like a shield with like, I guess, raised edges. So the outside of the sternum absorbs the force of any contact. But mine was, so I think all of 08 at pretty much every single game and most half times. And then start of 09 season, I got rid of the plate. The injury had healed. But with the off season, and then like very early on in the season again, another elbow knock in there. It was like, oh God, we're gonna have to go back to the needle again. It's like almost two full seasons of getting injections there. It got that bad towards the end that when the doc was putting the needle through because obviously if you touch your sternum at home, it's very close to the skin. But when the doc was putting the needle in to get into the cartilage area to numb it, it actually formed scar tissue from that many incisions going in there.
Yuck.
So I'm like lay on my back and I couldn't look, but I could feel the needle grinding through the scar tissue going into the sternum. And like this, I probably did. Like, well, it was most of that second season because it was all scarred there. It was rank and like it would like bend because it's not it's different tissue going in there.
How do you heal that then, or is it not? Is it still a bit like
the sternum is? Oh, it's fine.
It's just fine now. It just takes time.
From that moment on, I always wore a guard
for the rest of your
career.
For
the rest of the career, no matter what. Right. I was not. Mate, you're not going back to that.
Yeah. I'll ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best halfback at the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs?
Lockie Galvin.
Come on.
Well, based off the evidence,
Toby Sexton comes onto that game, slots into halfback, and the whole Dogs attack looked better.
Yeah, it did. It did. Based off the evidence on Friday evening, you'd go with Sexton. I think long term it will be Galvin, but Sexton,
of course, well, Sexton's gone, mate. Sexton's gone to Cadillac.
I kept saying in the commentary, tell you what, Cal and Dragons have got themselves a good signing.
But he looked great, mate.
He did
come off the bench, and he obviously had a moment. He kicked the ball out in the full. It was a big moment in the game.
It was, but Pezzett did it as well.
Yep.
Look, and but if that's Galvin that does that, oh my God.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I think everyone needs to go easy on Galvin to a degree. He's a young kid. I think the Dogs have put him in this position by doing what they've done as well.
Yeah.
And
I think that is like, it's hard, man. Like, he's 19, just turned 20. He's been the most spoken about person, arguably in Australian sport this year. And it's not just hard on him, but it's hard on his family as well. And that's part of being an athlete. I get that. But, his parents will, be at a cafe and people talk because they care about the game. I was at the gym today and people are talking about the game and issues in the game. They love it. Reece Walsh, Hudson Young, Carrigan, they love it. Like the referees. And Galvin is a topic of conversation, and they would have likely overheard people talking negatively about their son. It's pretty. I know my parents would have experienced that. My loved ones would have experienced that, and that is part of being an athlete. And with all the social media commentary, it's it's. I think, I don't see the point in giving him personal criticism. It's not his choice to be he chose to come to the Dogs. He wanted to, but he's not picking the team.
No.
So, and I think as well, look, this is a bit of a different tangent. No athlete needs sympathy. It's the most amazing life. It really, really is. I look at, I think I saw Sione Katoa, an article on the weekend about, he was collecting glasses bottles out of people's bins to earn a little bit of extra cash. There was a recent documentary about the English footballers that got caught up in a scam, basically, with all that lost millions and millions of pounds. And it's not like poor footballers, but a lot of the time, some athletes are just trying to look after their own futures. Yeah. And this, again, different tangent, but, Ricky Hatton, someone who I met a couple of times, he recently took his own life. Incredibly sad. One of my favourite boxers, such a showman, it's not all it's cracked up to be sometimes being an athlete. Again, the most amazing life, but there is a darker side to it at times. But
mental health doesn't discriminate as well.
Exactly.
Or not. We've seen Chris Sandow's recent struggles as well.
Yeah.
Who he would have, from the outside looking, he made so much money during his career, but then he's in a really tough position and battling his demons. And
with the money side of things, you see and you do get paid well and you got the most amazing lifestyle, but that doesn't mean you know what to do with that money.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of bad advice. It's interesting, the player agents and stuff, and the financial illiteracy of a lot of I was the same. I didn't know when I got my first contract. I didn't know what to do with my money. My parents didn't know what to do with it either. It wasn't astronomical sums, but it's they're oh, buy a house. But was that the right advice? I don't know. Maybe. The house that I actually bought, it's probably still worth what it is when I bought it, 25 years ago because I just got a little 2 up, 2 down terrace in Liverpool.
Yeah.
They weren't like, in terms of like a growth strategy, it's cost me money as well, like the maintenance of it all. But I was desperate to get on there. Oh, you got to buy. They for them, like they're a bit of an old school mentality of rent is dead money.
Yeah.
You'd never rent.
Yeah.
God, son, no. But like, and most people come from not. And then when I had a bit more surplus, I didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like some people telling me to put it in stocks. Some people buy more. Start a business. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, but just on the Dogs, obviously huge injury crisis. I still think there's a competitive side on paper, though. I still think there's a competitive side. I'm thinking Tracy at the back. We've got Cherry comes back in.
Yeah.
If we move Burton to the centres, Rinakama hopefully is fit. Kiraz, Sexton.
Yeah.
Galvin.
Yeah. Which looked, that combination.
Yeah.
Galvin looked more like he suited that, not him to, manage the team and just let Sexton run off the back of what Sexton wanted to do.
And then as per programme, the forward pack, a lot of debate around Marnie in for Hayward.
How can you not put Reid Marnie in though?
Well,
Bailey Hayward is nowhere near the player that Reid Marnie is, in all honesty.
Yeah, I really like Bailey Hayward's contribution. I think there was a bit of an idea to get him in there at 9. I probably think he's probably better at lock.
Yeah, he's better coming off the bench as well because he can provide. He can take some pressure off a dummy half as well, but he could also play lock, like you say.
Look, and a lot of criticism of Bailey Hayward. He missed 15 tackles. He made 51.
Yeah, so he's missing 1 every 3, basically.
Like he made 51.
But yeah, he's missing 1 every 3.
A lot. And if you look at the Bulldogs, they have the best defensive record.
Yeah.
But some of the worst for missed tackles. Yeah. So there's not a correlate. They don't view misses traditionally.
Yeah.
So
when Sexton came on, I really during that game I was thinking, what could the Dogs season have been if they just stuck with Toby Sexton and Reid Marnie? Because Sexton seems to bring everything together, and it's you can throw whatever stats you want. The eye test is the eye test, and you can just see that Sexton suits their attack more.
Look, based off the evidence of Friday, I agree.
But there's also the evidence of Friday, and then there's the evidence of the first 15 rounds of the year or whatever it was.
And I guess you make decisions, and there's consequences to that. There's calculations, there's predictions. There's no certainty.
Yeah.
You can't make certain choices. And even that, there's no certainty that if the Dogs had stayed with what they were doing, we would like to think we'd know, but we don't.
No.
There's no certainty that combination keeps or keeps on the trajectory, keeps delivering results, or is in a better position than what the Dogs are now.
Yeah.
That's not certain. That's an educated guess. That's a calculated assessment. Just like the club, when they made the decision to move things around, that was a calculated assessment.
Yeah. Upon review, hasn't worked out and it'd be hard to argue that it hasn't. But Sunday, it's going to be a sellout pretty much, Jimmy. Like if you want to go see an amazing atmosphere, an amazing game of footy, Sunday Arvo, a finals week 2 Sunday Arvo game, like a core stadium's going to be pumping. Penrith fans, like you need to show up because the Dogs fans, we all know they will show up. But Penrith, will you show up?
It's a bit of a Willstone Raider moment, isn't it, for Penrith?
What is a Willstone Raider? The
Willstone Raider.
Don't know what that is.
You got no ground. You got no fans. They don't have a ground, and they probably won't turn up.
Yeah,
so,
I know. Well, they're going to be outnumbered, so they should get together and try and come. Yeah. I've said it before. Penrith to a core stadium. It's hard. It's hard for everyone to get to a core stadium. You got to get 2 trains even come from Central. You can't go from Central to a core stadium. Makes no sense. They built a stadium which doesn't have a direct train from Central Station. I don't get that at all. It's bizarre,
that one, isn't it?
Like Penrith, you're gonna have to. It's gonna be.
No, they put on special trains.
No, they don't, mate. They don't. You go to Lidcombe and then you go
change.
Yeah, it's change at Lidcombe or whatever you change. It's a joke, man.
Tony, can you make sure you put in the Willstone Raider in the podcast, because if our fans don't know what it is,
I'll give it to you. Whatever. How do you? Yeah.
If you want some,
I'll give it to you.
You want to do me?
Yeah.
Tell you what, the Dogs are playing well. What? You want some?
You've got no fans. You've got no ground.
Them fucking Hawks are playing well. I'm telling you.
Well, you want some?
Hey?
You want some?
Well, the old Super Mole, wouldn't
You
it?
want some or what?
Are you red?
You want some
They're
or what?
fantastic. They're fantastic.
You're playing shit because you've got no friends.
What
And
are
you're
you-
a load of wankers. If you want some, I'll give it you. You want to do with me?
Yeah,
It's going to be amazing.
really looking forward to it, mate. It's going to be a great game. I think the Dogs now tap into that underdog mentality. No one's giving them a chance. Everyone's writing them off. Penrith, look, cruise control really against the Warriors. Like the Warriors were gutsy. There's only ever going to be one winner. You'd be a fool to have predicted otherwise, Charlie. And look, I guess you'd look at it and go a bit of travel there.
Long turnaround though for them because
yeah.
they played Saturday, so they would have flown back Sunday.
Yeah.
They'll be right. It's
Yeah.
Also, mate, the travel to New Zealand, it's overhyped. 3 hours. It's worse going to Perth.
Oh,
So,
don't you start on this again.
It's worse going to Perth.
It's not.
It is. It's
You
3
don't have to be
hours,
there
mate.
3 hours before the plane.
You don't have to be there 3 hours before for Auckland Ivy. Take an overnight bag. I got to International Airport 45 minutes before my flight
Ooh,
to Auckland.
You're odd. It's people like you that deserve to be missing planes.
Yeah.
With that attitude stinks. Turning up 45 minutes.
But mate, if you've got
turning
no
up
carry,
40, yeah, but you've got to go
carry
through,
on only.
You've got to go through security.
Yeah,
you've
and
got
it's
to
actually
get your
quick.
passport.
That's the great thing about Sydney International Airport. It's a good, fast, service.
It's
they provide.
attitudes like that though that leak into other airports like LAX. Oh, Charlie, wait, I'll just bounce up 15 minutes before. Oh, no, the flight's they've oversold the flight and we're off.
Yeah, well then if they've oversold the flight, that's all right. Just put me on the next one.
I mean, you can't have that sort of relaxed attitude towards flying. Mate.
me
If
on
you're an
the next
NRL team, you can't just be like, oh, we'll just get the next one.
Yeah.
Mate, you're a disgrace when it comes to that. You've even turned on me for my attitude towards domestic travel. I was on Friday before we flew to Melbourne. Flight was 11:30.
Yep.
I was still at the gym at 10:15.
Yeah.
And I was training with Jamie Lattimore. He's like, mate, you couldn't have fine, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Like I don't need the.
No, you
but
get-
it's you.
get
It's
there
you that's caused this.
20 to 25 minutes early before the flight for a domestic.
Before-
half an hour.
before
half an hour
takeoff?
before takeoff, yeah.
I know that's who I've become.
That's the deadline, half an hour before takeoff.
That's who I've become,
Yeah.
thanks to you.
No, mate, it's the best way to live, though. It's the best way to live. You don't even need to be wasting time at the airport.
Well, if there's
Lounges, overrated. Like,
Yeah.
everyone wants to get in the lounge. Don't get in the lounge. Just get there and walk onto the plane.
But what happens if there's a crash or there's bad traffic? I mean,
well, then, what happens if, you're in the crash? What happens? You can't worry your whole life about the what ifs and maybes and
yeah.
buts. You got to just hope things go your way.
But in terms of Penrith, I think Mitch Kenny will be back fully fit. If you look at stars aligning, they're well rested. Not the most intense game. They take on a depleted Dogs. They'll go to play. If they win that, they'll play the Broncos. I mean, the ghosts of 23. Oh my God,
Broncos with no Carrigan, busted Haas, and a potential spine reshuffle that's going to spook them. And this big news that Billy Walters has done his ACL. Far out. That's heavy.
Oh no,
That is heavy. Billy Walters' ACL injury. He will obviously be out for the season. That's tough. That is really tough. So now, obviously, we spoke about Ezra Mam earlier. Maybe they'll try rushing back for the prelim.
Or you go,
Or you go Hunt,
Ben Hunt at 6 and
Reynolds at 7.
That is horrible, especially when you think about you feel for his father as well at this point.
It's such a shame.
Oh,
man.
that is sickening, man.
Billy Walters has been incredible.
That pass that he put on for Shibasaki's try.
Yeah.
If Walsh does that pass, they are falling in love with it. That was a beautifully disguised pass.
Definitely.
And he's been so good. Oh,
Does it say when he did it in the game or anything like that? No.
How did he do an ACL? I must not know about it.
That means he's played through. That means he's done his ACL and played through the game. That's incredible. We saw Cam McInnes do 4 tackles the other day with an ACL injury. Billy Walters is, we don't know how much he's played, but even if he's played 5 minutes of a game with an ACL injury, that's insane.
Especially when you consider the context of the game.
And how intense that game was.
Man, as if that got lost on us.
Yeah,
Like,
well, but
it
if
was so
he
much
stayed on,
yeah.
he would have just...
Yeah. Oh, that is shattering.
The adrenaline just would have been so strong, he would have been able to carry him
Yeah.
through. That changes things, though. That changes things. So now you've got Penrith. It's actually a perfect kind of segue. Like Penrith, all those ticks in their favour now.
Yeah.
We're heading to a Penrith Storm grand final, Jimmy, and I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I called it at the beginning of the season.
You did.
The Penrith.
Beginning of the finals as well, you called it.
Yeah.
When both of them didn't look that good.
Yeah. Either way.
It isn't either way, but I still wouldn't count out Canberra though. Like Melbourne, I know Melbourne are going to be very well rested, but Melbourne there were a lot of chinks in their armor, and I think the Dogs are rubbish at the moment. At the moment,
Mate,
with the position they're in, I think the Dogs are.
That is disgraceful. You were at that game.
Yeah, I know.
And you saw how
they tried
intense
their
it
guts
was.
out. They tried their guts out.
That's not rubbish, though.
I think
that's actually amazing when you consider like how many injuries they had, the reshuffle that they had.
Yeah.
Mate, how can you categorize that as rubbish? Mate, that was one of the best. Mate, that was an amazing kickoff to finals.
It was a great game.
Was set. It was
a great game. However,
it was like a 9 out of 10 game.
However, was it two lower teams going head to head? That's kind of how I almost
Melbourne.
read it. I was more worried about Melbourne than how unimpressive they were. The fact they couldn't destroy a Dogs team without Stephen Crichton for most of the game, with this spine reshuffle, with Kick-Out's face busted. Like, that was a really close game. So in my opinion, that goes to show that the Storm are maybe at a slightly lower level than anticipated. I think Canberra make the grand final still.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how they do, most definitely. I think, again, if you delete the Broncos game from your memory,
yeah,
and all you say is to make the grand final, Canberra have to beat Cronulla and then beat Melbourne in Melbourne, I'm in.
Yeah,
but I can't delete that from the memory.
You just think it'd be too cool to mentally,
and
the mental
neither can they.
scars. Yeah,
and just forget the intensity in 94 minutes.
Yeah,
they cheered like they'd won it twice.
Yeah,
like they cheered like they'd won it. Like,
well, they had Jimmy
Charlie, mate. They had, yeah, mate. Doing it once is a crash. They did it twice where they're like, yes, and to have that feeling completely nullified is insane.
Yeah.
And that is the thing. I think you're right about Canberra. If I can delete it from my memory, I'd back them to win those two games. And that's what Ricky Stewart has to do. Delete that from the memory. Get the Men in Black people around and it's gone. That's what they need to do.
Yeah.
And I think that will determine Canberra's season. We know they can play. We know they can beat big teams in big moments and big games at the last minute. We know that they didn't get the job done on Sunday, but they should have. They could have, and they should have, but they have done it in the past. But it's just the question of getting over it.
Yeah. And Dogs fans, I am sort of joking a little bit when I say you were rubbish as well. I was just trying to wind up Jimmy and I got him. Hooked you. Before we go, the Wars, Jimmy. I think they can win the comp next year. I think they're almost a lock for the top four, and I think they can win the comp next year.
That's an interesting statement.
I was so impressed by their effort against Penrith, though. I was so impressed by it. And without the players they're missing, you throw Mitch Barnett back into that team and you throw Luke Metcalf back into that team. I think they're going to be an incredibly tough opponent.
I really like their young forwards. Like, they've got some great young forwards. I do worry about their, respectfully, fullback and outside backs in the centre position. They're good, but they're just not like that elite level. And with Metcalf, 100% what you say. The crappy thing about the situation with Metcalf is he is injury prone. But if he can put a season together, Charlie, there's no reason why they can't.
Can I tell you a little whisper I've heard as well, which could be something that Warriors fans won't want to hear?
Wants to come back to Sydney.
He might want to come back to Sydney, Luke Metcalf, yeah.
And
And I can understand that. He's got obviously family. This is where his family's from. He was here in Cronulla. I think there is a huge part of him that wants to come back to Sydney, or at least explore what those options look like if he does come back to Sydney. And there's one Sydney club who's desperately in need of a half, and that's the St George Illawarra Dragons. And if that's the case, because he is a November 1 guy, Luke Metcalf.
Yeah.
I should say that. If the Dragons go hard at him, like that's the play they should be going hard at, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, is it right that the Warriors have made an extension offer and he knocked it back?
At this stage, it hasn't been accepted.
Yeah.
I think also he's the kind of guy who maybe is interested in doing things like media and exploring other opportunities outside of footy. The reality is there's a lot more opportunities here in Sydney than there is in Auckland. There's a lot more media opportunities here in Sydney and opportunities to do third parties and things like that and things outside of footy. But
the game is going gangbusters over there, and there's probably room for expansion in coverage.
Absolutely, yeah. Mate, for me, that's who should be getting the 19th team, is another team in New Zealand. That's who should be the 20th team. That's who should be the 18th team, is another team in New Zealand.
Yeah, you make a good point.
Like that's
which is rare.
Yeah, which is rare. Very rare. Very rare. But mate, what a show. 45 minutes on the Canberra Raiders. That was sort of bloke in a bar-esque. They do 3 hours on a Monday. Yeah. Oh, but they do that in every game. I don't know how they do that every day. That'd be...
Still, oh my goodness me, the things we could have got into in that game. One of the big takeaways for me, just to wrap this up, and again, for a lot of distractions, I thought the Canberra middle won the battle as well. First time in a long time I've seen Brisbane Pack get not beaten up, but not win.
Joey Tarpany doesn't get anywhere near the respect he deserves.
Yeah,
doesn't at all. The the other thing actually I might ask you, 28-12 up. If they end up winning the game, say 30-12, 36-12. We're sitting here saying Canberra Raiders are the favourites for the premiership as well. So that's why I don't think you can write them out yet.
Yeah.
Young teams can have a loss like that and bounce back.
Yeah, you're right, Charlie. Great assessment. If they'd have won, they'd have been playing Penrith or the Dogs. Ooh,
yeah.
But they're the tough games you've got to face.
I hope it's on the bloody Penrith Storm grand final. I want something new. I want something fresh. I want Broncos Raiders now after that game. That's what I want to be the grand final.
That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
It would be, Jimmy.
Or the Dogs redemption against the Storm could happen.
Yeah, I'm not getting the bus, by the way, to Canberra on Saturday.
You're not?
I'm going to drive myself.
I'm not going, so I'll just be watching. I'll be cheering you on.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we got time for, everyone. We'll catch you on the other side.